Now, the South African president is sending special envoys to deal with the crisis in Zimbabwe. He's appointed former Minister Sidney Mufamadi and former National Assembly Speaker Baleka Mbete. A number of Zimbabwean activists and anti-government protesters have been victimized and arrested over the past week. Meanwhile, President Emmerson Mnangagwa is putting the blame on dark foreign forces working with rogue Zimbabweans for the unrest. To discuss this further, I'll be joined very shortly by the international relations expert Dr. Charles Sinkala from Africa 55 states. Before I go there, though, the doc I know is also watching this. I just want to play an interview with one of the envoys, Baleka Mbete, which was carried out a couple of years ago, but it speaks specifically to the issue we're talking about now.
Do you still think militaries have a responsibility to intervene in politics in light of these developments?
Did you support a military intervention in Zimbabwe?
I thought it was great. That intervention was politically motivated. It happened to be an initiative of military people.
Do you call it a coup? Was it a coup? Was it a military coup?
Because it was the military, then I guess coup will do. But I'm saying there was a crisis busy unfolding in Zimbabwe.
So you think it was better for that to happen?
I think that intervention helped ZANU-PF.
So that's an interview that was carried out, it's about a couple of years ago with one of the envoys. Let me bring in Dr. Sinkala now. Doc, I'm sure you saw that or you heard that. When you look at the two envoys going across to Zimbabwe, are you worried about any type of bias?
Thank you very much for having me, and good morning to your viewers. Not really, you know. The only problem which we have is the structure of the envoys, what they need to achieve, what is the roadmap, how are they going to tackle, what are the pressure points. You know, for the lack of the framework on how to handle the conflicts in governments has been always a problem and leading to devastating results in terms of government of units, because you know, the history of Zimbabwe in terms of GNUs has been disastrous across the world. As we have heard in Lesotho, we have had more than 3 governments of national unity. Just briefly, in Zimbabwe in the 80s, you know, there was a government of national unity between the former Zimbabwean president, R.G. Mugabe, and Joshua Nkoma. That never worked as well. Again, in 2008, we had one with Morgan Tsvangirai, who ultimately died. You know, also that never worked. So the approach of approaching Zimbabwe's crisis has to be very technically. You know, I may not doubt Baleka Mbete's decisions in reacting towards the coup which happened. You know, I think Zimbabweans actually made a fundamental mistake, you know, to bring that coup to light. I mean, if they had mobilized the region organizations and parties involved, especially South Africa, because South Africa has got a very profound key role in terms of interest of economic activities from Zimbabwe. They should have had sat with the R.G. Mugabe, and I'm sure he should have considered to resign rather than the framework which they took.
Well, when you talk about the fact that they should have sat with the former president, that did take place many times under the government of our former president Mbeki. But I want to carry on the just the matter here of the envoys going through and what sort of outcome we can expect, because you had Patrick Chinamasa, who is the spokesperson for ZANU-PF, the ruling party. He says a revolutionary sister. He's referring to the ANC. It has never been in our tradition to censor a fellow revolutionary movement, and I emphasize a revolutionary sister here. Is a revolutionary card going to come into play here?
No, not really. It's just a mere rhetoric. You know, many times the ANC has tried to advise Zimbabwe to be on a better trajectory. This has run down 20 years ago, and that has never happened. Many times the former Secretary General of the ANC, Gwede Mantashe, as well as President Zuma, tried ultimately without any success. And the issue in Zimbabwe has gone through that far, you know. So what is required in Zimbabwe is to get a framework. You know, the biggest problem in Zimbabwe, actually, what we are talking about, among others of atrocities, is the link between the democratic dynamics of politics, you know, and the self-destruction of governance, of the economical governance. Many of them has blamed the sanctions made by the United States, but if you look at these sanctions, it's a power of veto where United States made a decision in 2001 that any monies or financial institutions help Zimbabwe will seek from outside United States of America can put a veto there that they cannot be given because of the corruption and the dynamics of the politics which are in the within the party. And very quickly, in addition to that, there's no unity. I hear now there's threats between the vice president who worked a very pivotal role to put President Mnangagwa into his position, who also ultimately, after the coup, was out of the country in China, you know, seeking medical attention, also accusing President Mnangagwa of attempting to kill him. And again, recently, a few weeks ago, Mnangagwa at a meeting which they had in the ZANU-PF is accusing the vice president of killing him, poisoning. You know, it's all those type of dynamics which has put Zimbabwe's situation to be so complex. And I think
so Doc,
just in winding up there, you know, the efforts of trying to mediate the problems here in Zimbabwe is failing. And I think the other problem is for them to believe that Zimbabweans are the only ones who can solve this problem. You know, they need to invite the international community and everybody. And besides that, President Mnangagwa is chairperson of the organ of SADC, you know, because SADC is supposed to be leading the mediation in Zimbabwe, but him being the chairperson of politics and peace at the SADC level, it compromises his authority to mediate the problems in Zimbabwe.
All right, Doc, I just, okay, we run out of time, but fantastic, good to have you with us here. We're talking to you live there from Harare in Zimbabwe. Dr. Charles Sinkala, he's our Africa expert, talking about the Zimbabwean crisis and the reaction from SADC and specifically the reaction from South Africa.